If you gave that relationship, friendship, romantic, it doesn't matter, all you have and it wasn't enough, it wasn't for you. And that's okay. That means something out there is even better waiting for you as long as you have the determination and the patience to get there. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Katrina, and this is the Becoming Her Diaries, where I share my journey of becoming my highest self with the hopes of inspiring you to do the same. This week is all about books, and if you don't know if this is the first time seeing my face, I quit my job in 2025 to pursue my dreams of entrepreneurship, day trading, and content creation. And when I tell you the foolishness that your brain goes through in this process is insane, and it is very difficult to explain to anybody else. And once you do it, you'll get it for yourself. But it's not just challenging, there's a lot of ups and downs emotionally, and you just spend a lot of time either doubting yourself, believing yourself, and there's this high and lows that you go through. And I wanted to share some books that have helped me through this journey that I go back to regularly to realign myself with what I want for myself, why I'm on this journey, because it can be hard to remember sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there are definitely times where I'm like, this is difficult. I don't know if I should be doing this. Like, this was a mistake. This was the biggest mistake in my life. And these books help to recenter me. So we have 5 books and 1 honorable mention. So let's get this list started. This is The Courage to Be Disliked. And when I tell you this book will change the way your brain functions, I mean it. It is not just about being disliked, what you don't feel comfortable with being disliked, but why we have those discomforts, how to overcome them. Technically, this is a self-help book, but it's not written in the same way as other self-help books. And so if you look inside, you can see that it is a conversation between a novice and a master, and how they describe it is youth and a philosopher. And so the youth, he kind of disrespectful, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, he a little rude. And he be asking some questions, and I don't know if I really approve of his tone throughout this whole book. But the questions that he asks are the questions that you probably have thought to yourself when reading other self-help books. And hearing the master reply to answer those specific questions, it gives you a much better idea of what would have happened if you actually had access to have these conversations with someone versus just reading a book, internalizing it, having questions, and maybe another chapter answers them or maybe not. This is literally question, answer, doubt, answer. Okay, he is literally just challenging this man on all of his beliefs and comparing it to the real world, which allows you as a reader to say, yeah, that's a valid question. I didn't even think of that question. And then you listen to him say, you're like, oh no, what is the answer to that? And all those answers are given in this book. I listened to this for the first time on audiobook instead of reading it, and I would highly encourage you to get the audiobook. Now, not the audiobook where it's just the AI thing and it don't sound good. No. If you get the real audiobook, like on Libby or on Kindle, it is actually 2 different voices back and forth. And it makes it a lot easier to think you're just kind of listening to a podcast versus listening to an audiobook. And for that reason, it is on the list. The next one is a cult classic. This is actually probably my favorite book, which is shown by how raggedy she is right now. She has gone with me around the world, has seen many a country, and I take this in my book bag also because it's so small. And this is The Alchemist. The Alchemist, like a couple other of these books, is not a non-fiction self-help book, and that is what I love about it most. There are so many self-help books that are nonfiction, and if you don't like nonfiction, it's very hard to make it through the whole book and get all the lessons and everything that's in there because you get distracted or you get bored. This is actually a story. It is more like a fable, and if you enjoy Bible stories, I think this is a better option for you because the Bible also works in proverbs. And so this is basically one really, really long proverb. And it's the story of a young boy who is trying to achieve his destiny. And it's really about the journey. You know, they say the people you meet along the way, and he meets all these different people. And one of my favorite parts of this book is him meeting somebody who had a personal dream and enjoys dreaming more than actually going for his dream. And I was like, yo, that is so real, because there's so many people out in the world that you will hear them have these dreams that they don't really go after. And as someone who's like such a go-getter, I can't stand it. I'm like, why not? But there's a joy in also having a dream and you have to find this balance of enjoying the dream itself versus actually going for the dream. Because I'm in the season right now as an entrepreneur who is going for the dream. And when I tell you it is hard, it is one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my entire life. And this book reminds me of the alternative and the very, very different alternatives. There's more than one character in this book, right? But you see other people on different stages of their journey, people who have given up on their journey, and everything in between. And it just reminds me of who I want to be in this story, which is the guy that goes after his personal dream, or what they called in this book, his personal legend. So yeah, it's my favorite book. Next is another cult classic. And honestly, it's a cult classic for a reason. I think this is a great introductory book into personal wealth, mindset, vibration, the woo-woo, everything. And that is Think or Grow Rich. Yes, I do have the deluxe edition. Yes, there is a lot of things sticking out of it. And yes, it is somewhat like highlighted. I actually have like stickies in here and everything. If I could find a really good workbook for you guys, I would attach it to this video. And I'll look after I finish filming this, because this book has a lot of steps to take and it can be a little overwhelming, which is why you see the things just stop, because I haven't done all the steps in the earlier chapter to finish the book. Think or Grow Rich is, what was it? Published in 1937. And so it's almost 100 years old and it is still in print for a reason. And that is because it is not just a self-help book that gives you concepts, ideas, theory. It gives you tangible steps of what to do. Now, the execution of those steps, the continuous execution of those steps, is where it becomes a bit more challenging, because there's things like put together a mastermind group. That sounds great in theory. I have found that in this day and age, it can be very difficult to find other people that have a similar aspiration, desire, and ambition level to match yours. Finding my mastermind group of people who are similar interests and want the same goals as me has become a little more different. And this book also encourages me to keep trying that. And when I tell you, there's a reason all of these are sectioned off. And of course they're color coded, right? I do appreciate they break down the science in here in a way that is very easy to understand. The way that Napoleon Hill writes, which is why this isn't the only book of his that I own, is there's complex language in here, but they're very simple ideas. He kind of speaks in different levels and the book builds upon itself, which is why I think it's one of the books that's very important to read in order. A lot of self-help books you don't have to read in order because each chapter is a different concept altogether. But this book, I would suggest reading in order, read it slowly, and actually take action on the things in it is what makes a difference. Similar to the book, The Artist's Way, you could read The Artist's Way, but actually doing the efforts and the assignments that are in it is what makes it such a successful book. And I can see how much my life could change if I actually went through the whole thing and completed all the actions. I haven't done it all yet, y'all, but I plan to. So if you are someone that has read through all of Think or Grow Rich and done all the exercises, definitely let me know in the comments below, because I'm curious to see how your life changed from doing all the actions. And I'll keep you guys updated as I get through the rest of the list of actions in this book. Next is one that's not as well known. I feel like this book is in very small circles, very niche circles, and it's becoming a bit more popular because it's not an easy read and it's very science focused. And that is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. When I tell you, you could tell he got a doctorate degree. The man who wrote this is smart. He's so smart. And it is a difficult book to get through, which I'm gonna warn y'all up front. It's a difficult book to get through because there's just a lot of science in a way that if you are not humble enough to get through this, it's going to be a difficult book to get through because it may seem overwhelming. This wouldn't be the first book I would give somebody if they are trying to grow their mind and grow their mindset. I would start them with something a bit less intense. But I would also say you could take this book, which I also, as you can see, have clearly highlighted. You could take this title and put it into ChatGPT, and I would suggest doing that per chapter. If you are not someone who has dived into the woo-woo and all the like brain stuff, because I got into this book after going to like a Joe Dispenza conference, things like that. That gave me a bit of a high level understanding and the way that he broke it down so that I could prepare myself for this book. The studies that they've done in support of this and the breakdowns of the breakdowns of the breakdown. It really is like, if you've ever been to a class or a business class, they have this exercise called the 5 whys. And it's, for instance, if you say, I want $1 million, why do you want $1 million? Because I want to be able to buy whatever I want. Why do you want to buy whatever you want? And you go do that 5 times. This book answers the 5 whys of like the earlier chapters. The later chapters literally build. Once again, this is a book where you need to read it in order because there is so much information, which is another reason why I have not completely finished this book. And as you can see, there's a lot highlighted in here as well. And one of the things I do like to do with very intense books like this is when I'm having a day that I want to kind of refresh myself on it, I will just read the highlighted sections in here and then just skip it because there's a reason that I highlighted it. And for myself as an entrepreneur, I find that my subconscious is my biggest enemy. It's my biggest op. I'm my biggest op. It ain't nobody on this planet but me that is my biggest opposition in life. And this book helps me mitigate that in a very structured way. If you are a type A person, this is a great book for you because it is not going to just give you theories and concepts similar to Think or Grow Rich. It is going to give you action items. And I'm actually trying to find a page of it because there's actually space in here for you to write things down. And it's not even a workbook. And I believe there may be a workbook edition for this as well. And you can even see on the back, it's Tony Robbins is the one doing the quote on the back because this book is quality. It's a very, very quality book. And so it's called psycho-cybernetics. It's a concept of like your brain being like a computer and having cybernetic connections that can be rewired and worked to build the life that you want. Of all the books that I'm listing today, this is the one that I would say to start with. And that is The 4 Agreements. One, she's so small. It's so small. And unlike the other books that I've said, you can hop around. The 4 agreements listed out are be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And because it's separated like that, if you are having a day where you feel like you are just doing one of those things, you are taking something personally, you can just go to that chapter and reread it. And for that reason, it is just easier. It's just an easier book. The font also isn't super small in here. You can literally sit down and read one of the chapters in like an hour or so and be on to the next one. So for instance, let me find y'all the actual pages for this one. This is it for don't take anything personally. It's so small. So that's page 47 to 62. You can literally just pick this up and it's such a great pocket guide to life. And I do think just living by these 4 things will change your life for the better. And as an entrepreneur who gets rejected every day by brands or people, don't take anything personally and don't make assumptions. And then when you do actually get an opportunity, be impeccable with your word. And of course, always do your best. And I find that this is the book that will remind you that all you can do is your best. That's literally it. And if I know that if I do my best and something still doesn't work out for me, it wasn't meant for me. And I find that that is a level of peace that is unmatched in my life, is just knowing that you did your best. And if that's not it, it's not it. And just taking that not just into business, but into personal relationships. If you gave that relationship, friendship, romantic, it doesn't matter, all you have and it wasn't enough, it wasn't for you. And that's okay. That means something out there is even better waiting for you, as long as you have the determination and the patience to get there. And that for me just makes this book worth its weight in gold. And it's one that I also usually travel with. If you see me overseas, most likely, especially if it's an extended trip, I have brought the 4 Agreements and The Alchemist, and I will travel with nothing else. And that is all I need to kind of keep me centered and guided moving forward in my life. So my last book, my honorable mention, because this one's hit or miss for people. I don't know why people don't like it. Like I said earlier, I love a self-help fiction parable style book because I love fiction books. I love fiction reading and romanticy. And so sometimes I want to learn and I want to grow, but I don't want to be bored. So I want a storyline. I want some characters. I want a little drama. Okay. And that's why I like The Richest Man in Babylon. I don't care what people say. Because some people are like, this is such a crappy book. I don't know why people like The Richest Man in Babylon. Because it's good. This also is a good beginner book. right up there with the Four Agreements. It is very small. The font is not small in here either, y'all. This is not a difficult read. I actually listened, I think, to this whole podcast. I'm sorry, not the podcast. I listened to this whole audiobook just in the drive to Calabasas, because Calabasas takes, up to 2 hours to get there. And I listened to it on 2X and finished the whole thing. And I also got the book because there are passages in here that I like to revisit. This is a very similar structure to The Alchemist, in which there are multiple characters. They're main characters, but you learn from the side characters different traits in life, and it also reflects in how the main character grows as a person. The Richest Man in Babylon is, I'm not going to ruin the book for you. It's clearly about the richest man in Babylon, right? But it's so much more than that. And as someone who likes to read fiction and sometimes just read the dialogue and be skipping the story building, this works really well for me personally. But this is also a great option for a audiobook. A couple of these I would definitely say have the physical books, the ones that are more complex and language heavy, because you're going to want to highlight things that you can come back to. This is the book that you can listen to on an audiobook over and over again and just really absorb a lot from the audiobook itself. Then there are other books like Think or Grow Rich. Don't listen to the audiobook. Oh my God, don't do that. Don't do it. If you make it through that whole audiobook and you don't fall asleep, you a better one than me. You got it. You are better than me, and I can accept that. And I hope you can accept it and celebrate it too, because I couldn't listen to that whole thing. That audiobook is probably like 12 hours long. Absolutely not. And it is all like just lesson. I don't know how people do that. Also, there's too many action items in that book. So I wouldn't encourage someone to do. You can do it. I wouldn't encourage it. This is a book with no action items. It is a conversation with multiple characters. This is one you can listen to and you can still take the lessons in, and you could pause it and kind of reflect on what just happened. Be like, oof, that was a word. This sometimes come across like you're in church, but it's like a non-Christian church. It's just like lessons. And you ever listen to somebody's podcast or a TED Talk and be like, dang, they was talking. That's The Richest Man in Babylon. And y'all won't make me hate this book. Somebody hates it. I will never hate it, but to each their own. So that is our book. So quick roundup. Great for beginners, Richest Man in Babylon, as well as the Four Agreements. Definitely, start slow with these two. If you really about that life, these are your go-to books. The Psycho-Cybernetics book, and then also Think or Grow Rich. These are very action item based, so just keep that in mind when you're reading them. And then lastly, two of my top faves, which are The Alchemist and The Courage to be Disliked. I think just getting these 6 books will do so much for your life, so much for your journey. I really don't think it's necessary to go crazy with books. Do I have over 100 books? Yes. Do I need all of them? No. Do I think you'll get a lot of the same lessons from all of those books condensed into these 6 books? Yes. Yes, I do. And the great part about these books is that a lot of these have been in print for so long, they don't cost that much. You can get majority of these books for under $10. If you go to a used bookstore, they will have at least half of these. The only ones they may not carry are The Courage to be Disliked and potentially Psycho-Cybernetics. The rest of these will be in a used bookstore. You don't have to buy these new. Okay, that is just fine. You could find yourself in a Half-Blood Prince situation if you buy one of these used, because someone like me probably highlighted already, wrote in little notes and lessons and additions to it, and that could really make all the difference for you. I mean, look at how well Harry did after, getting that book. I'm just saying. But that's neither here nor there. If you don't get the reference, message me, leave a comment. I'll explain it to you later, and I'll maybe make a little post about it. But those are my top 6, really top 5 with an honorable mention. And let me know if y'all read any of these books before in the comments, because I love to talk about these books. And if y'all want to know what else I'm reading in this journey, definitely let me know, and I'll send you guys some more options to read. I also have trading books, I have fiction books, I have Black authored books. We got it all up in here because, I make time to read because it's relaxing and fulfilling. But yeah, those are my book recommendation, guys. Let me know what y'all think, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.